Happy days and welcome to another Extreme Business Set Mind series with the wonderful, the amazing, the 1,000 wise men in one, Lee Tunney Ware, all the way from Ireland, and myself, Paul Rees from West Wales, originally from South Wales. Actually, I was born in a very close-knit mining community in my state, and I was brought up in a village where you could walk into your next door neighbours and grab a pot of sugar and walk out and then take it back and put it back in the pantry without even knocking on the door. And we spent all summer running around in wellies. I don't know why that was, but we didn't have real shoes. A wellie was your all year round go-to shoe that would effectively left red marks on the mid of your calves. That was my kind of upbringing. Do you know what I mean? We actually went out berry picking and we picked gooseberries and we would go nesting and all these kinds of things that, man, you ask a child, do you want to come blackberry picking? What? How do I do that? Let me get an app and find out about that. Do you know what I mean? I remember when I went up the listeners, I'll say this, I went up the attic to get down the Christmas trimmings. My daughter was only about 6 or 7, something like that. She's climbing up the ladder behind me and she says, "Dad, what's that?" Pulls out my vinyl. "What is that, Dad?" I said, "It's music." She said, "What? There's music on that?" I said, "Absolutely. I mean, there's music on it." She said, "Wow." She said, "We're doing a project on the olden days. Maybe I'll take it." What? It's not the old days. It was only around the corner. Do you know what I mean? But hey, how things have changed. Have they changed for the better, we wonder? You know, we grew up with the Oxford Dictionary, that then became the Urban Dictionary. And now we have the digital dictionary. We have all these things going on, you know. Conversation isn't conversation anymore. It's fragmented letters that make up a sentence for most people on the phone. It's crazy. And also, you know, could we say that once failure was failure, but now they say failure is success? This is confusing because the belief in that is very much stretched and watered down for many people. And as you know, Lee has no idea what we're going to talk about today. I'm about to bring that in is there a difference between success and failure? Are they both the same? And why I want to bring this in is people often puff out their chest and say, "Bring failure on. I grow from it. I do great," you know. I mean, listen, I learned a lot from my bankruptcy that I went through 17 years ago. Would I want to go through that again? Hell no. Why? Why? You know, what is the point? Why do I want to fail to go through that again? So, you know, let's look at this and let's really put it out there, because I'm a little bit exhausted with the people that come forward with a body armor and say, "I love failure. I grow from it. It makes really, really okay. I understand the need to learn. But is failure success? You know, or is success actually not success? Is failure? Should we say I'm an expert in failure, not that I'm successful? Should we be saying that? Sure. Or, you know, because here's the thing is that people says, "Yeah, I'm successful." It's such a positive thing to say, but really, our success come from success, or am I just an expert in overcoming failure? You know, let's look at this. Because what I am, you know, and I'm going to say, I always believe practice your bragging rights if you got them and do it with integrity. But really, if failure was that purposeful and that important, then people would stop failing. They would get it once. They would understand this is what failure looks like. So why do I have to keep repeating it? Do you see what I mean, Lee? Why do we have to keep repeating failure then if we only have to learn it once?
Well, and that's the thing with it. I mean, if you took it another way, not to take it another way, but just the way I would hear it, is, I mean, who likes hurting? Whether it's physical or emotional, I mean, who likes hurting? I mean, so if you've got to fail to succeed, then really what you're going to say is you've got to hurt to succeed.
Yeah,
You've got to be, I mean, literally, and hurt. I mean, sometimes that hurt can destroy lives, families, relationships. It can lead to addiction. See, I wouldn't be carrying the banner of failure. Is the challenges on the road to success? I think we encounter challenges. I think that done correctly, success can be easy, or at least easier. I think that in a sense we go out to prove ourselves. bit like that warrior on the battlefield of life. Yeah, even the way we talk about success, and I've said this before, like it's an uphill battle. You're climbing up the ladder and others are kicking you down. I don't think it's the case. I think with success, they talk about focus, commitment, different things like that, which let's say there's different levels to it. And even then, when we say there's different levels to it, we create all the different levels. So if you're type A personality, yeah, and you're an alpha, you're going to get success, yeah. But you've got to keep pushing. You've got to tread over people because the ones, and you've got to hear it, see, if success is climbing up the ladder while others put you down, then when you are successful, you're the one at the top of the ladder pushing people down, yeah.
Oh, wow. There is that.
Yeah, so is it that you have to become like them to be successful? So there's so many different variables to it. So to me, I think it's quite simple. Yeah. So, and you can hear it, you can put it in the toxic realm, you can put it that people are competing with you, and some do, some will, but I don't compete. And I've had people say to me, oh, you're very competitive, and I wouldn't class myself competitive. I just do what I do. Sometimes people try to change my plans, but they're my plans. They have no right to change them. Now, if I'm working with Paul and John and Mary and Roz, then we have to have really good communication and a really clear outcome and why we're going after that outcome. Because one on that journey, and so many people end up they're in business with family members or partners, people they went to school with and whatever, and then they get to those transition points and Paul wants to go left and Lee's saying, well, no, we go right. So now we've got a conflict. You'd imagine, but we haven't got a conflict. We're just not on the same page. If the outcome, success, is what we want, then we have to agree on what success looks like, tastes like, smells like, feels like for all of us. Some might want to be overachievers. Some might want to be, well, I'm quite happy where we are while we push it. So it's what level of success do you want? Yeah, and I've even had and I'm saying this I'm not saying this from my imagination. I'm saying this from the pages of my life because I've had those moments where, first of all, I had to separate the information, yeah. And I'm not sure precisely how to do this where I can make it crystal clear. But I'm speaking from the pages of my life. From the pages of my life are inside my being, from my skin in. The same as pages of your life are inside your skin. Everyone that's listening. But when I try to express them, people hear it like it's my opinion, or that I'm trying to compete. But if I don't compete and I realise, well, however successful Paul is or isn't, Paul's still Paul. I can put a judgment on Paul and say, oh, Paul should have a lot more success than he's got. He's an idiot. Or he's holding himself back. I can make them judgments, but as soon as I make them judgments, I mean, I'm not going to contradict myself, am I? And I mean, if I'm insecure, I'm going to find people to agree with me. Isn't that right, Ross? Yeah, Esley.
Oh, well, yeah.
But he's a nice guy. And we can have all these little judgments where, to me, that's disrespect, that's dishonor. Because if I can think that way about Paul, I mean, what's to stop Paul from thinking that way about me? So there's inside our skin, there's inside their skin, and then there's the real world where we interact. That's where we share and express. So I might say something to Paul, and Paul might go, I can't believe you said that, mate.
Yeah.
Or I might say, I think success is going down past the traffic lights, yeah, up to the roundabout, straight over, down to the fire station, turn left, down past the big green, and Paul's house is on the right. That's how we get to success, and Paul's house is success. And Paul goes, well, no, I disagree, Lee. All right, so we got two different journeys to success. So now, if Paul's a smart guy and Lee's a smart guy, then Paul and Lee should be smart enough to realise, all right, if we're going to do this together, then we don't want conflict, because if we get conflict, I'm going to become Paul's problem and Paul's going to become mine. And we're looking for success together.
Yeah.
So Paul and I have to be, let's call it, in man enough to sit down and go, right, I get why. So where are we on the same page? Well, down to the traffic lights. I say we go down straight down the road here to the traffic lights. Would you agree? I would agree with that. All right, so we're on the page, the same page as the traffic lights. Yeah. Do we go straight through the traffic lights, or do you? Yeah, I go straight through the traffic lights. Which way do you go? I go left. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's where I'm a little bit confused. So you think I'm wrong? Oh, I didn't put any judgment on it at all, my friend. I just said I was confused. That might mean because I'm missing a piece of information and I can't see that I need to go left.
Yeah.
So I need to be wise enough to realise Paul might know something I don't. Or Paul needs to be wise enough to realise Lee might know something he don't.
Yeah.
And that's where we have a conversation. That's where we sit down and communicate. Now, that's if we're in partners. That could be our wife. Yeah, I mean, I had Ross say to me years ago, why do you keep doing what you do? Surely we got enough money. Surely we got enough this. Yeah, most of what we got, most people could work 5 lifetimes and wouldn't get what we got.
Mm-hmm.
When is enough enough? And it's you sort of think, yeah, right. Never thought of it like that, but it's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's what fulfills me. It's not. It's not about money anymore. It's not about. It's what fulfills me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's. I don't know how to explain it. So then, at the same time, though, I've got to realise, well, hang about. Ros isn't happy. Why? Is it because of the pressure? Is it because that she was cocooned in a self-value that anything outside of that makes her feel uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
And like, is it? And you got to sort of look at it, what's going on, because it always Ros right, and Lee's an overachiever. Why is Lee an overachiever? So if it's part of our personality, we've got to work out if I'm in a relationship and what I'm doing is actually making the other person feel uncomfortable,
yeah,
or out of place. Then I have to ask myself, well, am I now her problem or his problem? And is there something I'm missing? And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. That just means my self-awareness. When these blips come up, which some might call failure or conflict, yeah, I don't see them as failure or conflict. I see them as moments of deep thinking, as in like, oh, right. I wouldn't say, oh, don't be just stupid or grow up. Yeah, I wouldn't say that because I've had that said to me and it ain't nice.
Yeah.
Because then you walk around thinking, especially if it's somebody you respect and love says that to you, and then you go out on this journey trying to prove them wrong, and you're not really trying to prove them wrong. You're trying to you're trying to create a reality where they actually see that they were wrong.
So that's not success then. That's
no, that's medication to me. That's dealing with you. That's with wounds that haven't healed.
Do you think? And here's the thing: is that everybody's focusing on the word success. I mean, wouldn't it be easier just to focus on what failure is and what that feels like to master that, and then allow success to organically just come in? Because people are often. I mean, you use this phrase "sit there, sucking a thumb," and I agree. You know,
self-soothing.
Yeah, people often. And I use this phrase myself too, self-medicated in business, and that was a massive enlightening moment on my understanding of people in business. You know, even myself also, trust me. When we think about self-medicating, if we truly embraced what failure felt like, mastered what failure felt like, then we wouldn't have been mastering success. We just master failure to avoid then.
That's a good point.
Avoid failure and let success, because everybody's chasing success envy.
Yeah. No, you could be, and I'm not disagreeing with it. I hear what you're saying, and I can relate to what you're saying. I would just see it, or feel it, or taste it, or smell it, or look at it a different way. Yeah, or think about it a different way. I would say, for example, don't put your hand on the fire because it burns. Yeah, so that's a form of failure. Like, do you want to get burnt? No, then put your hand on the fire. And then if you lock that in and you think, right, that's perfect. I just don't put my hand on the fire. I want to get burnt. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Because you could drop the basket and they could all crack. Yeah. And then, so I even use that terminology. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It means like you don't align all of your business success in one area with one client, because that something could happen to that client and then you're just the knock-on effect. However, even though, like, don't put your hand on the fire, we all know that. So does that mean when circumstances arise, like, I don't know, a dog runs in the fire, your child falls in the fire, do you leave the child or the dog in there?
Oh, wow. That's...
Yeah, so there's certain points that the rules apply until you have to decide. Whereas the rule holds you, and this is where I think failure is that some of the things, the everyday stuff we know, serves us very well. And they're there to protect us, whether that be psychologically, emotionally, or physically. However, they're not written in stone. That's where independent thought, character, empathy, sympathy. I just think empathy and sympathy and some of the things I spoke about are utilised in the wrong way. I'm not saying I'm right. But if a child looks like they're going to fall in the fire, I'm not going to wait for them to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So in this term, that falling in the fire could be business failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and depending on how big the fire, depends on how much the pain. I mean, how quick they're going to get burnt. So as a good consultant or a good coach, my job isn't just to upskill them and give them, I think a lot of people confuse coaching, consulting, and mentoring. There's three different departments. Coaching, a good, deep, bespoke business coach or life coach, will ask the thought-provoking questions, but not just questions. They will ask a question that will pivot. It's like, I call them keystone questions. Mm-hmm. You're going to ask, and you ask certain questions, you're fact finding, and then you get the terrain. And there was something in it. So, for instance, success and failure. So, when I was about 6, I would say, I was in Yarmouth, with my mum and dad and that, bit like any other kid would be. We were just out, and they had this, like the fair had come to town, So, and they had a couple of bumper cars and different things like that. And they had a shooting gallery. Shooting gallery was an air rifle with a chain to the counter. And I want to go. Can I go? And you didn't have to be a certain age. You had to be a certain height. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't that height. So there was another bloke over here done toffee apples and candy floss, and he went, "I'll sort that, mister," to my dad, and he pulled out this milk crate. He had 2 of them. He was sitting on with a cushion, and he took the cushion off, picked out the milk crate, put it on the thing. He said, "Stand on that, son. Let's see it." He went, "There you go." So that was the problem solved. Mm-hmm. Now, I was too small. If my dad accepted the reality, or the other guy accepted the reality, I would never have got to shot the air rifle at 6, and I wanted to shoot the air rifle at 6. If I hadn't shot the air rifle, I would have been a failure. However, somebody else saw my problem, gave me the solution, gave me a step up. He put the thing down. All I had to do was step up on top. It was easy. Yeah. I didn't have to be a deep thinker in it, because the other guy over here, he was a mentor. He was a consultant. He knew exactly what I needed. So he come out, there you go. Now I'm up there and I'm going, right, it's easy, this, And my dad said, right, you look through there's like a, like there's 2 little openings at the top. It's just like a U, really. And you're looking through this U bit on the gun. And at the end of the barrel, there's another piece that sticks up. And you have to get the piece that sticks up right in between the U. And that should be in the bullseye. So if you're looking at the bullseye and you can see the piece, that's lined up for the trigger. Pull the trigger, it should go right in the bullseye. Obviously, everyone that shoots at a target, they want to hit the bullseye. Mm-hmm. Whether they call that target a goal, sales targets, whatever. That's success. You got to get it right, and like, if you want to get success really right, you've got to be like Robin Hood. The first person's fired the arrow and they've hit it right in the bullseye. Robin Hood comes along and he splits the arrow. I mean, he's even been more accurate. That means he was more successful than the first guy. Yeah. So I fired the gun, aiming at the bullseye, doing what my mentor told me, my father, line the bit up in between the U, and you hit the bullseye. Now, when I hit the bullseye, I didn't hit it. I was about 1.5 inches over on the left. And about 3/4 of an inch down. So now I need a bit of consultancy. Yeah, and my dad went, all right, and had a look at the target, and he's got the target, and he's got the target here, like, and they're all carrying on. Everyone's queuing up. He went, here, look, you were aiming at the bullseye here, weren't you? Yeah, yeah. See where it is. You were aiming dead centre, and you're 1.5 inches to the left. He said, and you're about 3/4 of an inch down. So now he said, I'll get you another go. He said, this time you're going to aim 1.5 inches to the right, and about 3/4 of an inch up. It's because the sight isn't set right. He said, and then we'll see where you are on that. So I had to queue up, got another go, and I aimed 1.5 inches to the right, because when I shot before a dead bullseye, it was 1.5 inches to the left. So now I have to compensate. Yeah, because you could say I failed the first time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I was in learning mode. I was being consulted and mentored, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I fired, and I didn't get the bullseye. I got a lot closer. And my dad then out again. He said, right, and I was still disappointed because I hadn't got success yet. So he said, right, what do you see? Now he wasn't a mentor anymore. He became a coach. What do you see? From what you know, what do you think you'd need to do next?
Wow.
Because
yes.
if he tells me what to do, yeah, then I don't get success. I just follow instructions. Mm-hmm. Following instructions isn't success. I'm just doing what I'm told. Mm-hmm. It means I learn nothing. So he's given me the other boy, got the box out, gave me the milk crate. So I go a step up. Now I'm in a position where I can be successful. Without that step up, I wouldn't be able to see the target. Mm-hmm. I've took my first shot on my own merit, my organic self, and I've missed. Then I've got somebody who's a really good shot who could hit every bullseye every time, regardless of like, and he's telling me what to do. And I do it, and I don't get success. Now I can go, my dad knows nothing. He's deliberately told me to do that, so I fell. He doesn't want me to succeed because he doesn't want me to be as good a shot as him. I'll translate that. My dad doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to the trauma and drama because I didn't get success. So the first time, my dad took me to the side, showed me the target. He said, you need to be 1.5 inches to the right and 3/4 up. He said, and we'll see where you go then. And now I've done that, and we're up to the side again. Now he's asked me, what do you see? You know, basically he's telling me, you know what I know now. You've experienced it. You know what it's like. What do you think? And this, yeah, he said to me, now, which he couldn't ask me this question before. What do you think you're doing wrong? Because information is one thing. Experience is another. Experience is where I experience it. And I don't like the taste of not hitting the bullseye. Yeah, I don't like it because then am I smaller than I was? Do I need 2 hop-ups now? Because inside I've shrunk a bit. Mm-hmm. And I can turn around to the bloke with the candy floss stand. Can I have that other crate? Because on the inside I've sunk a little bit.
Wow.
I was tall on the outside, but inside I feel like I need 6 of those crates. Yeah, because I want my dad to be proud of me. I want the target. I want to show me mum. I want to show me nan. I mean, who wants to show somebody? I went on the shoot. What did you do on your target? You know the white bit outside the target? Yeah, I hit the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, you clever boy. They don't reward you for that, see?
Yeah.
I just got inside the first ring. Oh, well, never mind. You'll get it better next time. No, I'm not going to do it next time. Why? Because I'm a failure now. What do you mean you're a failure? That was your first time doing it. Yeah, I'm a failure. Did you practice before you went and done it? No. Was it your first time shooting a gun? Yeah. Well, why don't you accept that you never done any prep? Mm-hmm. I mean, a good decorator won't just paint over all the chips on the wall. They'll fill them and sand them so you don't see them anymore, the defects. But if you want to reward your defects, then you have to resign yourself that life is your failure.
Well, let me just jump in on that because you said something there. Reward your defects. That is just.
Sorry, I dropped my pen.
Everybody, it's okay. Everybody that's watching this, just think about what he said there. Reward your defects. Now, that in itself is powerful because when we think about those words, reward your defects, then I question, why is it that 95% of new startup businesses fail then? They don't follow through in success when effectively by rewarding your defects is actually what's creating your success. Why is that? Why do we have more failures when failures is the most important part of what we see in here in your not rate to success, in your rate to be in a full version of yourself, let's say?
Well, I suppose it's what are you doing wrong? And that, so it comes back to the question Mitef was asking me with the target. Yeah. What are you doing wrong? I could have gone.
Yeah. The word wrongly is what wrong, getting it wrong, doing it wrong. Maybe it's purely we're adopting our childhood feelings of what those words are as adults.
Well, yeah,
and going back to sucking out them.
You could say that. I wouldn't say that. I think there's a fundamental part being taught to everybody, not deliberately. That would be conspiracy. Mm-hmm. I think that in the education system, that people learn to calibrate themselves for failure or for success.
Wow.
I think it was taught to us unconsciously. I don't think the teachers or the education system or the government decided to do that. Is wrong. Now, I can be wrong as in you're walking past and I put my leg out and trip you. I think it's hilarious and you break your arm. Mm-hmm. My intention was to have something funny, not to break your arm. And I would say, well, I'll grow up, Paul. Well, I didn't know you were going to break your arm. You've done it to me like 2 weeks ago. Not when there's concrete and glass about, Lee. Would you ever have a bit of cop on? Also, I can only do it when you say I can do it. And we can have all those conversations. Mm-hmm. What I think happened was, because it seems to be too consistent for it to be random. When it's too consistent, it ain't random, which means it's something we learn. It's not something that's organic. A leaf on the wind. You can go out to your garden if you've got trees. I can go out to my garden, and there's always going to be leaves in them this time of year. Loads of them. To the point that you're going to moan about them. That ain't that. And you can say, well, how did they get there? Well, they fall off the tree because it's a cycle.
Yeah.
But when you've got educated people, hear it. When you've got people that have gone to school for 12 years minimum to learn how to be successful and they come out and they're not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you think, oh. And then they go, well, now you've learned the fundamentals of education. You need to go on to uni or college so you can be successful and get a certificate to show that you're better than everybody else. And because of that certificate, you're going to get money in a JOB. And then they get in the JOB, they get the certificate of money, and then they go, hang about, there ain't enough money in this JOB. And now I feel like a failure. I mean, what do you think makes people feel like a failure? Because when we take it out of the entrepreneur bit into everyday life, do you feel man or woman enough when you've got more month left at the end of the money? When you have to say, when you say we can't go on holiday this year, and then you have to ask yourself, where's all the money going? Yeah. Is it because you're a spendthrift or you're a gadget girl or guy and you go, well, that's all right. I'm going to get them new speakers. How much are they? No, don't worry about them. I'll put it on my credit. Credit what? Credit card. Yeah. What's that mean? It means I'm going to put it on the never, we used to call it. Mm-hmm. What do you mean never? Well, it means I'm never going to own it because I'm never going to pay for it. When I get fed up with it, they can take it. We take the speaker back. Oh, you take the speaker back. That's right. I don't want it now. Yeah, or they used to buy their Christmas presents on the catalogue.
Yeah, I grew up that way.
Yeah, right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you do have to ask why when they spent so many years being educated. Mm-hmm. But that's all right. My son's just put me in a cup of coffee. So the point is I think the fundamental bit is they've learned is that one, to compete in class, this mark you get is just a mark on your education. It's a memory test.
Yeah.
It's a listening test. How well did you listen? Well, I never heard them say that. Well, Joanne got the result and you didn't. Well, Joanne, she's good at maths. All right, so you're in denial. You're bad at maths. Well, yeah, I am. How do you know? Because I never get it right. Oh, because does that mean you never listen? Or you've never applied yourself in maths? Does that mean you got a bad teacher? You got the same teacher teaching Joanne and Joanne gets 100%. Joanne's smarter than me. All right, nothing wrong with that. She might be smarter than you when it comes to maths. Does that mean that you're a failure when it comes to maths? And if it does, do you think you need maths in business? Well, I'm going to be a carpenter. All right. So you don't think you have to take measurements. You don't think you have to get estimates. You don't think you have to work out how much materials you need. I'll deal with that when I get to it. 3 lengths of timber. How long's a length? I don't know, but it's 3 of those that are going there. And you can navigate through your life like that to earn a living. And that's the big problem, that most people have been taught in the education system to get a job so they can earn a living. I'll translate the language in my world. To put food on the table. If food on the table is your success level, then you've achieved it. But that means you're going to go through life just putting bread, water, cheese, and whatever. Maybe well, I like the organic stuff. All right, so you like the good organic stuff. You're still putting food on the table to earn a living. Earning a living isn't life. I mean, years ago, we didn't have to earn it. We'd go out and hunt for it or grow it. Mm-hmm. And I remember the days like the way you opened with the Wellingtons. I mean, that was we always wore Wellingtons. Yeah. And like, because I grew up on a farm and we grew everything. And that was just the everyday stuff. I mean, a good harvest was seen as success. Well, you didn't get a good harvest without weeding the crop, without preparing the crop, without digging the field, whatever. And you said about apps when we come in, like when we go into being successful, like, is it because nowadays, if we're honest with each other, there's never been a better time for success for humans. However, many will still fail before they succeed, or many will fail and it blocks them from success. And if it was easy, would it be called success? However, it can be very easy if you know what you're doing wrong. But if you're too defensive that you never do nothing wrong, now if you get it wrong, it's failure. No. If you've never done it before, so I pull up at your house and I pull up with my jack, yeah, and I say, Paul, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it. Something's wrong with it. Could you have a look at it? And you go, well, look, Lee, I don't drive cars. I only ride bikes. I've never driven a car. Never passed my test. Obviously, I'm making this up. I don't know whether you drive a car or you don't drive a car. I know you go out on a motorhome, but let's imagine you've never driven any. All you've ever done, you move from a tricycle to a bicycle, and that's it. And I go, and you go, well, look, I don't even know what car is, Lee. I don't know bonnet to boot. That's all right, Paul. I trust you. You're a clever guy. Yeah, I'll open the bonnet. You have a look under the hood and see if you can find out what's wrong. You know, if it was a bike, mate, I'd have a good idea. No. Look, don't let your negative attitude get in the way. Yeah, I trust you. You're a very competent guy. Work out what's wrong with my car. And you go, all right, I think I've worked it out, Lee. What? You see this thing here, the battery, yeah. If we take that out, it don't make that noise anymore. It's just quiet as a mouse. You wouldn't even think it's running. All right, well, then take the battery out. You take the battery out, shut the bonnet, and I'll go, yeah, it won't run now, Paul. It won't start at all, won't go anywhere. Yeah, but it's not making that noise anymore, is it? and in a sense, that's what we're doing in life. We're going into areas where we have no clue of what we're doing, and we think success is a website, a landing page, a few posts on social media. And if I'm honest, we think, well, I put everything I had into it. Okay. What did you put into it? Well, I paid a couple of £100 or a couple of £1,000 for my website. I spent hours digging my brand story out of me and my passion, and I put that up there. Yeah. And did you run any adverts? Well, no, I didn't run any adverts. I've been doing social media all week. All right. Right. Yeah. So you haven't run any adverts? No. So you haven't worked out the pain points in the market, what you're here to solve, and why people would pay you in the first place. Yeah, but I've got a good website, good brand, good colours, good logo, good everything, and that's all you need to be successful. No, it isn't. What you do need to be, and your success is nothing to do with you. So, for example, if you want a good job with a high salary, you need to have certain skills that make your boss or bosses feel safe, feel comfortable. Well, they know success. Why is it? Well, we're going to be successful in this quarter. How do you know? We got Paul. Paul's an absolute expert in X. And Paul decides after years he's fed up with earning all these bosses his loads of money. So he goes, well, I'm going to go out on my own. Now, Paul's is only one secret ingredient. But Paul goes, well, how did my boss or bosses get successful? They had a website. They had a street address. Yeah, they had good branding, good everything. So I'm going to develop my brand story while I'm still working at the JOP. And I'm going to run it alongside until I'm successful. And then we go, oh, how's it going, Paul? Yeah, I'm failing at the minute, Lee. How do you mean failing? Well, I keep aiming at the bullseye, and I ain't even hit the paper, mate. I mean, yesterday I shot at the bullseye. It ended up in 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks back, I ended up like 2 steps forward, 99 steps back, and I ended up in next door's garden. I was so disorientated. I was inside out, back to front, upside down. And I just feel so angry. Yeah, because those feelings are what we got to learn, see, because success is an inside job.
Wow.
So when we aim for that bullseye, we got to know what we're aiming for. But the success in a business or success in life, success in relationships, but really they're very much the same. You have to be a good listener, not with your ears. Or in information in class, you have to be a good listener. And you go, right, she said that. Don't really understand what that means, right? And I make the note, don't understand that one. And then when the class goes, sorry, teach, you know you said about X. Yeah, that didn't make sense to me at all. Now, if I've got a good teacher, she's going to be empathetic, sympathetic, and is going to listen. She could turn around and say, well, that's because you never listen in class. Like, yeah, but miss, I wrote this note down. And I've even worked out what I don't know. And I've come to you to say to you, I don't know. Now, if she wants to give me a step up, she'd go, all right, you're looking at it from the wrong way. What, this, and this? Oh, I get it now. Oh, brilliant. She's supposed to help me make the concept. And if I can get that concept correct, then the next time I come in, I'm already there. When I'm listening, I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people listen, they don't hear. A lot of people are so intent on what they want, their brand colour, over in the left a bit. No, that, no, left, no. Just over. Okay, yeah. It's a bit like getting your back scratched and they're scratching on the right and you need it on the left. It's like that. And you're trying to communicate this. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't know if you've been there, yeah? And when they get it right, it's a bit like our Rosie. If you scratch her, she's trying to scratch her. Yeah, you're scratching her, but her leg's still moving. Yeah. And I do it with Roz sometimes. I'll say to her about this scratching back there. She's scratching back. This could be like, I done it in Milan airport. I said, oh, darling, just scratch my back there. And she went to scratch it like that. And I started getting my leg going like that. She said, oh, you're so embarrassing, yeah? But the point I'm trying to make is this, that it is like success is a bit like scratching an itch. But when it's right in the most awkward part of your back and you can't reach it, you do have to say, Paul, can you do me a favour, mate? Just down a bit, left a bit. And it's a bit frustration. Oh, when they get, oh, man, it's the best feeling ever when they get it right. And that's success. You got to know where you're missing. And sometimes you got to know that Paul's a bike mechanic. A bike, like he can repair a bike, can't repair a car. You've got to know where people's skill set lie. You've got to know where your skill set is. And if you don't know it, that's what you read the book for. Don't read the book on how to be successful. Work out what you don't know and learn it, or work out what you don't know and get somebody else to scratch the itch. But most times you can't scratch the itch because you ain't got the money. I learned to be very successful very quick because I realised I was never going to learn everything I needed to know. I've only got one head. And I heard something very wise when I was a kid. 2 heads are better than one. All right. What happens if I had 200 heads? Mm-hmm. Well, nobody has 200 leads. I know, but what happens if I had 200 leads? How many much better would that be? But if you've got 200 heads and they're all telling you to turn left, turn right, go back, you need to go, you're on the wrong road, and you're getting all that information, it's very confusing. Yeah. So do I listen to Paul? Do I listen to Lee? Do I listen to John? It's very simple. You put the bread in the oven and it doesn't rise. Yeah, you can say you didn't put enough yeast in. I put the yeast in. Yeah, no. right, then you didn't do X. Somebody that knows success will know what you've missed. And they can be this quick. They can hop you up straight away. Good mentor or a good consultant can get you up to see the problem in a different way. A good coach, it can be a combination of all those, and they'll give you enough data to take you to the position to ask you the right question. And like my dad, and it's this simple. He gave me the information about hitting the target, and then he went to me, right, so what do you think you're doing wrong? Now, he's already set the parameters, see, and I'm looking at it now. He said, now you're closer, you haven't hit the bullseye. Yeah, you're only half an inch away, but look how far you've come from one lesson. You've come over like an inch. Yeah, now look how far success is away. So what do you think you need to do? You've actually gone to the right of the target now. So you've gone too far to the left when you're aiming, so you need to come over a bit. But you're on the right line. Where you had it before, you've got to hold it at that height, but just come over just a fraction. Bear in mind a little bit here, there's a big bit down there. And then when he paid, there was like one target. I had 4 shots. And I put all 4 shots. So you'd think I was Robin Hood. I put the first one, and even the bloke went, oh, he's really good. He said he's fired 4 shots, but there's 1 hole. Because my dad said, oh, once you get it right, he said, oh, you hold your breath. He said, don't fire. He said, you got to hold your breath. He said, once you got it lined up, he said, you probably breathed out as you pulled the trigger. He said, you got to hold your breath before you pull the trigger out. That's probably one bit I didn't tell you. He said, now join it all together. Now join it all together. First shot, bang. Yeah, and when I done it again, and I hit them all, and he went, that's really good. And then he said, we'll have another go. He said, now you're on your own. From start to finish, you're on your own. Now, my Isaac and my Tom, Isaac and Tom, the others didn't take much interest in it, but Isaac and Tom, we got one of our adventure activities would be archery. Bang, straight the bullseye. Lock picking would be another one. We went into team building. We'd have like the book called CIA Lock Picking Guide. We'd give it around so they'd learn it, and then one would learn it, and one would be messing about with the lock picks trying to open the lock, and one would be learning the information how to work as a team. And then Paul might be learning how to pick a lock by reading it. Yeah, that's linear data. The other will be learning how to pick a lock by twiddling with it, which one do I use? And neither one, the one who's reading it can't do the lock. He or she has to transfer the skills to the one that's doing it. Well, I think I know what you're doing wrong. What am I doing wrong? You need to get that one. Which one? You can't touch that one. The third one over. Yeah, it's a bit like that itch you can't scratch. No, right a bit. That. No, that's it. And if you've got somebody who can listen and somebody who can convey information really well, success is a partnership. But too many people it's my business, my life. Now, Ross, because I was in business before I met Ross, and a few times over the years, Ross used the terminology, never quite understood it. And bear in mind, not talking about wife, just talking about some of the challenges with business and a relationship. I've done that for you. It's your business. Yeah, and one day it's been said a few times over a few years, but it always sat sour with me, and I couldn't quite, and I was always too busy to actually deal with it. And then one day, it was probably the straw that broke the camel's back with me. And I said firmly, darling, I'm the one that can't spell properly. What do you mean by that? I said, well, I know how to spell your, Y-O-U-R. Why have you put an extra letter in? She said, how do you mean? I said, well, it's our business, but you could put in the Y in front of it. It's our business, but you keep putting a Y in it. Our business, not your business. So I said, you're putting an extra letter in. Take the Y out, please, the next time you talk to me about our business. Stop calling it your business. Because I don't know. I said, we're in this together. You had it long before me, but we built it together. Now, the point of that is that sometimes when you hear people's language, when inside you it's not true, if it's a joint venture, if it's success lined up. Now, I'm a good shooter, Whether I'd be as good a shooter as I was then, I don't know. I haven't gone near a gun for years. But with the right patience from somebody and the ability to listen and me not getting caught up in my feelings when I hit it wrong, and would somebody give me a milk float, I was able to be successful very quickly. What I done to be successful, I realised that was success. I realised that was success. So sometimes when I can't see it, I need a hopper. And I go to Paul and I go, Paul, I can't see this. I know it exists, but I can't see it. I'm too short. And Paul goes, that's easy, love. Oh, mate, here's a hopper. So I get up on the milk float and I go, in here, you spend a bit of time with me, patience, and they see it now. So they see it now. Don't know how to get there, though. That's all right. That's where you need to talk to John for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can see it. Go and talk to John. Mm-hmm. But if I'm blindfolded and I want to pray, touch wood, yeah, if I want to do superstitious success, hocus pocus, yeah, that isn't success. You gotta know the combination. The combination is this: if you don't know and you're not certain, then you don't know and you're not certain. Whatever decision you make in that place is going to be from a place of you not knowing and you're not certain, which means you've got to have the school of hard knocks. When somebody's already had the hard knocks, yeah, but I want to be successful. Oh, you don't want to be successful, then you just want to medicate yourself. Well, it's my business. My business? No, it ain't your business. Yes, it is. No, it's gonna. If it's about you, then why do you want to be successful? I want loads of money because I want to go out to Marbella and I want to have cocktails and things. And who are you going to do it with? Oh, well, when I've got that amount of money, they're all want to be with me. You haven't heard the song by the Beatles, then money can't buy you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to have people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And success is easy. If you can't see it, you need ask somebody who can. Ask them how you can see it. You go on, sorry.
It's been a fantastic deep dive. And we've come into the end here. Use out my thought here, and all those people who are watching this today is that, recognize the consistency of your failures. Are they failures from are they emotional failures, or are they true business failures? We could say there's two types there, Lee. There's the emotional failures, which is self-medication, and there's business failures that actually create success.
Well, sometimes you think so badly of yourself, Paul, or us, that you have to be successful. You have to fail to have success. What do I mean by that? Well, if you think you're stupid, incapable, because other people told you and you believed them, but because you thought about yourself, because you weren't as good looking as the girl at school or the boy at school, or not as tall, or you weren't the go-to person, you might have a thing around you that, in a sense, that you're useless, you're incapable, you're ugly, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you have to have the failures in life for you to truly feel successful and feel comfortable in your own skin, because you can't, to change the reality. Yeah, I'm not being funny. There's ugly people that's been successful. And dare I say it, there's fat people that's been successful. Dare I say it, there's women that's been successful. Dare I say it, there's black people that's been successful. All of those labels that we put to discriminate or disrespect other humans, they mean nothing. They're not barriers to entry. If you're short, one leg, two legs, no legs, it's irrelevant. Success does not discriminate.
Yeah.
However, you might discriminate against you and stop your success.
Wow. Lee, this has been amazing again. I mean, we come in with a very basic question and we turn it into so many millions of golden nuggets. All our listeners out there, all our viewers out there, everybody that is watching us and following us on YouTube, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, leave your comments, because we always get back. Lee certainly does. I get back also. You find Lee on Lee Anywhere. You'll find him all over LinkedIn. Get hold of the man. He's
I've got one question before you go. That's not you, Paul, everybody. We spoke about audits in the past. Do an audit on what enables you to disable you.
Wow.
What are the things that you believe to be true? Well, bear in mind, you believe to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're too short, find a way of solving that problem. Yeah. whatever the problem is, just do an audit. Like, I'm no good at maths. Do you need to be good at maths? I mean, with a calculator now, everybody's on a level playing field.
Yeah.
I can't push the buttons. Why is that? Because I've got no fingers. Then use a pencil, put it in your mouth. Solve the problem. But do not discriminate against yourself and put yourself down because of what you can't do. If you can't do it, well, I don't have the time to do it, well, then you've got the same amount of time as everybody else. Success is a collaborative sport. What do I mean by that? Is that sometimes I'll ask Roz to spell. I can write very well, dictate. Roz types it or Google Docs types it. I don't allow what I can't do or I'm unable to do or unable to learn to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it as my excuse, as my badge, as my Star of David.
Yeah.
I'm proud of who I am and what I've got. But I won't discriminate against myself or any race or any colour or any sex because it's all irrelevant. That's failure.
Wow.
Failure, true failure is discriminating against others or protecting yourself against others, not unless they've got a stick or a gun and they're out for you. But your own family, if they're in your family, it's 50-50. If I've upset Roz, yeah, I'm most likely upset Roz, or Roz is being triggered by something I've done. Between us, we work that out, or vice versa. Roz has triggered me. When we get that awareness and we have that moment that we've hit the target wrong, that's when we look at the target. And that's when we have open conversations. Yeah, I don't want to row with you, my love, because why? Because I love you too much. Why would I want to have any engagement with another human that's going to destroy the relationship? So success to me is sticking with the right people, finding the right people, and unifying. But if I'm only helping Paul, so I can say Paul was only successful because of me, then I'm medicating me, and Paul is just my guinea pig.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, what enables you to disable you?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you ever so much. And of course, remember, subscribe, like, comment, and you've just enjoyed and sailed through another Extreme Business Set Mind series with the wonderful Lee Taniware and myself, Paul Rees. And we'll catch you, of course, this time next week. Have an amazing week. Remember, look at your failures, measure the consistency, and then follow what Lee says. Let's just keep it going, people. And bye for now.